Guys, what's going on? It's Ash here coming at you today in Raid Shadow Legends. So today we're going to talk about, well, the paywall of Doom Tower, talk about Doom Tower strategy overall, and kind of touch base after, 4 days or whatever it's been now that the Doom Tower has been introduced to the game. So first off, let's kind of talk a little bit about normal versus hard and about how you should be approaching the Doom Tower. Now, of course, it resets every 30 days, the Doom Tower, and it's going to be totally fresh, and you'll have to clear all the levels all over again, so every month, essentially. One kind of interesting thing that I saw in the help menu here is that where is it? The boss floors. At the moment, there are 4 Doom Tower bosses, which leads me to believe that in 2021, they actually might be adding separate bosses for each individual boss, mini-boss floor, which could be really cool, or maybe introducing, a couple new bosses at a time. Anyway, guys, normal, and this is very, very important to know here. The way that 99.999% of the player base should be and probably will be eventually once we kind of get into the swing of things, approaching Doom Tower is clearing normal first, farming up everything they can, either that or work on hard, get to where you can progress no longer, because one thing that we know already very early on, and I've been banging this drum since day 1 here, well, 4 days ago, of Doom Tower, is it's going to be very, very difficult. It was funny, in day 1, some people even in day 2 and day 3, depending on the level of your account, obviously, a lot of people out there being like, dude, this is too easy. This is too easy, Plarium, shame on you. But no, it's very, very, very difficult. Everybody's making predictions in terms of how many players are actually going to clear hard. A lot of people think it's going to be, 1% of the player base. I actually think it's going to be a handful of players, if any. I could be wrong, but I'm thinking maybe a couple players in the world, a few players, especially on this first go round. And, I've been wanting to do boss, in-depth strategy guides for you guys, but the truth is it's too early right now. We haven't been able to fight these bosses at more challenging difficulties, but I will kind of share some theory crafting towards the back end of this video for you guys. But anyway, each month, every month, you'll have the ability, everybody will have the ability to clear Doom Tower normal and potentially clear Doom Tower hard. What I'm trying to say is there will be enough keys to where you can complete both normal and hard, assuming you have the levels. So obviously you should be farming normal Doom Tower is as high as you can possibly get every month, and then switching over to hard or simultaneously working on hard and getting to that point where you just can't progress any further. Of course, at that point, it would behoove you to save your keys and farm the boss level. The hardest difficulty that you can, clear on hard mode would probably be the best bet in terms of your overall rewards. I'm going to talk about the artifact sets in a moment here. I want to give some critique on the artifact sets and some kind of reasoning behind it, but it's very, very important for you guys to realize the ease or the difficulty, differential from normal to hard. It's insane. I don't think many people realize this, okay? So I made the mistake of going through normal accidentally using my gold keys, so I'm actually a day behind here. But you can see, a lot of people are just using regular old farming champions here, ethos, a lot of ethoses to clear a lot of these early normal levels. Now they're using very similar strategies on the hard difficulty, but at least for me, when I got to the Nether Spider here on floor 20, I was like, oh damn. Oh, damn. Things got serious because to me, this was the first real big paywall. Now, what I want to do is show you something, and this is a team that I'm kind of building. I'm trying to think ahead here, right? Anybody who has 3 cold hearts or 4 royal guards or 8 septimuses or whatever, you get the point, can clear this very, very easy in a matter of seconds, this Nether Spider. But what if you don't have a bunch of max HP champions? That's why I'm kind of playtesting unkillable comps, because when it gets way more challenging, way more difficult as we skill. What if this is a floor 120? Imagine how difficult it's going to be. It's going to be insane, So I'm trying to think of unkillable comps, kind of taking some clan boss strategy and applying that to the Nether Spider to actually make more sustainable victories other than running 3 or 4 Septimuses in a fight or a bunch of cold hearts. So I'm going to share that information. Actually, I'm going to show you guys just the best champions on my entire account. And we're going to lose miserably, right? So when I say best champions, I mean like the best support champions. And while I do that in the background, I want to go ahead and show you guys something else. So let's just put Siffy. Let's put, Krisk. Let's put Raglan in there. Let's go ahead and put, I don't know. I just want to basically let's put, Trunda in there as well. And then let's give an all battle aura. Let's just put Altan in there too, okay? So just throwing basically 5 pretty OP champions together, and you're going to see how we're going to lose here. And the reason I'm showing you this, obviously this isn't a team that you're ever going to want to run, and obviously it's not accessible either. It's a super pay to win team. But what I want to show you is this is why there's a paywall right here, right? Is because you can have all the best champions in the game, but if you don't have the right best champions in the game, you're screwed. Think of how this will be once we get to, again, floor 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and so on. So let's talk quickly, and you guys can watch this team die first. And then let's talk quickly about the difficulty. And again, I would be approaching this, anybody watching this video, unless you are the top 0.00001% of the game, I would be approaching this of focusing, see how high you can get on, obviously on hard difficulty, and then just focus on normal, right? Learn about the bosses, take a second to actually pause and read what they do. So take a look at the Nether Spider, for example. There's interesting mechanics that we've never really seen before on all of these bosses, and the more challenging it gets, the more you're going to have to understand which champions do best against them. So learn all that on normal, especially once you reach your kind of plateau on hard, and then, build up your normal, clear the entire tower if you're able to. Some people, only make it, a quarter of the way on normal, depending on how new you are to this game, okay? The difficulty does scale up quickly. However, and this is crazy here, guys, you'll see this team, we're about ready to die here. You couldn't ask for a better support team. So again, this is going to illustrate for you guys that you could have the best champions in the game. It doesn't matter. You need specific teams, specific champions. We'll stay alive for a little bit, but the Spider's just going to heal herself up, and it's not going to be as easy as throwing in 5 OP champions in other areas of the game and expect to win even if it takes you a half an hour of doing so. No, this team will never win. We're always going to lose a 0% win rate with a team like this. Even if I subbed in a Royal Guard or 2 Royal Guards, it's not going to be enough. That's why I'm really, besides running a bunch of max HP champions, I'm trying to think about unkillable teams as well. So let me take a look at this. I want to give a big shout out to, I know I shared this in a previous video, but again, I want to give a shout out to the original compiler of this information. It's WizTix. So a Reddit user, WizTix, basically data mined or shared the entire data mine document of all of the bosses on all of these dungeons. And you can see I'm down to Altan and Trunda. We are going to lose here. I'm just going to go ahead and cover the screen just for a quick second for you guys, because I want to show you something. And this was in the data mined information that was on the towers. So take a look at, as the team dies here, take a look at this, guys. And I'm going to make it a little bit bigger for you in the background. Apologies, but there we go. So this is normal, and let me move myself over here. This is normal. Floor to Secret Chamber 11. This is normal, sorry. Stage 120, okay? Look at the hero levels. The heroes that we're facing on floor 120, and by the way, we died in the background. Floor 120 are going to be level 150 with around, 30 to 45k HP. You can see the stats right now on the champions that we're facing. Floor 120, we're facing a Whirlim, a Tormin, a Cernic, a Gurgo, the Augur, and a Turvold, okay? Now look at stage 1 in hard. Stage 1 is already level 250 on these heroes with basically double the stats. So stage 1 of hard is already exponentially more difficult than stage 120 of normal. So obviously there's different strategies, there's bosses, there's a lot to kind of take in there, but generally speaking, if you can clear normal, or if you can clear the first, 10, 20 stages of hard, which is a tall task, it gets challenging, it gets very challenging. A lot of my clanmates, or a few of my clanmates have not even done that. Well, then you'll easily be able to clear normal and farm, obviously, there. Now, when we go to stage 120, Of hard, I mean, look at this, guys. We're dealing with, level 225 on these champions. Heck, we go to stage 119 of hard. Check this out. Frostbringer, 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 Gurgo, level 308. Dude, the speed on these champions are going to be 200 anywhere from 200 to 300 plus on these speeds. That's insane, guys. I'll have a link to this if you guys are curious to take a look at the stats. That's just insane, guys. That's insane. That's unbelievable. And this is floor 20 Nether Spider with just a random team of OP champions. Not gonna work. Gonna have to have very specific strategies. So, of course, I'm sitting here. I cleared the level, by the way, using, 2 Cold Hearts and a Royal Guard. I don't even have Set to Miss unlocked on my account. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, I don't have 1 Septimus, let alone 2, let alone 3. What am I going to do when the going gets real tough here? This is going to be very challenging. Now, can we run 2 or 3 cleansers on our team? Tried it. Didn't really work. Have you guys? I tried Gerptuck, Reliquary Tender, and who else did we try on the same team? I'm going to show you this comp right here. And as I do, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about kind of, is this a good thing or is this a bad thing for the game overall that it's this difficult? Well, you can make the argument either way, couldn't you, right? Because you could easily say, well, if they made it a little bit easier, that would be a good thing for the player base not to get kind of frustrated. However, we do have normal, where you can experience the whole Doom Tower and just kind of work slowly but surely every month because of better gear, better champions, and progression. You'll be a little bit better, right? You'll be a little bit better in the hard difficulty or normal, wherever you're kind of reaching your stopping point every season, and then you can work to progress that way. That's kind of fun, and I like that slow grind of progression personally, but that's just me. I mean, I'm not sure if everybody's into that kind of slow grind in any game, in any video game. So that is, one way of looking at it, and I kind of think that's a cool way of looking at it. However, they could always add Nightmare, right? So if they did nerf Doom Tower, they could just add Nightmare difficulty down the line, kind of like they did with Campaign, and that could work as well, okay? So there's always that option. And I want to throw the question to you guys. Would you rather have it be easier on hard and then add Nightmare down the line if it gets too easy, if too many players are completing Doom Tower? Or do you like it the way it is? It is by far and away more, it's going to be way more challenging than Faction Wars. People who think it's way too easy right now, I guarantee they're going to be wrong. And mark my words, I'm down to eat crow and admit my mistake if I am wrong. But that's how I feel on it. I still want to talk about artifacts and about farming artifacts. But first, let's talk quickly about this Nether Spider, right? So Nether Spider, you got to be careful, because if you reduce turn meter, where is it? Counterattacks whenever an enemy decreases turn meter. The damage inflicted will be equal to the amount of turn meter lost, excuse me if I can talk, and will ignore 100% of defense. So I think that Man-Eater is really good, right? Because generally speaking, you don't want to turn meter manipulate the spider, but if you can build him with enough HP or defense, again, this is subject to change when we scale to higher difficulties, of course, you can still take one shot, right? So we fully deplete the turn meter, and then he's back to full turn meter again, because Siphon, as you guys can see, fully depletes target's turn meter and fills this champion's turn meter equal to the amount lost. So inherently, there is some synergy between Man-Eater potentially and the Nether Spider, if you can take a shot or revive him after he dies after you take a shot. So now we just kind of do the reduced attack on the A1 and we get the resist, and then we debuff, and then we use our first Ancient Blood. So obviously Unkillable will keep everybody alive if you can keep it long enough. So then we go in with 2 Cold Hearts, whatever our max HP champion is, and then what we're going to want to do is, unfortunately, we have to use our next Ancient Blood right now, because this Cold Heart will die if we don't. So we'll go in with, actually, let's see if we can go in without it, because we have Siphon up anyway. Let's see if we can get back to that Man-Eater. I might be wrong. I think we can. So again, guys, this is just kind of playtesting. It's important to also have Cold Heart because in this strategy, because we want to land that heal reduction right there. And I was wrong. We do lose that Cold Heart. Let's see if she can stay alive. If we can get that Ancient Blood on her before she dies. Ooh, we do, but it was close. So Ancient Blood number 2 goes on, and then we're just going to go ahead and do the A2 here, and basically do enough damage to kill, but with 2 Man-Eaters. I was able to do this much easier, adding a Kymar to the team, but, we don't want to really rely on another legendary champion for this strategy to work, right? We're just kind of, theory crafting different ways to approach this boss in case you don't have a bunch of, granted I do have 2 Cold Hearts, but in case you don't have 2 or 3 Septimuses down the line. So again, at this point, I'm not trying to sit here and say this is, oh my god, I figured out the Nether Spider. No, not at all. Just trying to think outside the box a little bit on unkillable teams, because, I think there's got to be more than one way to kill this spider. So this is using unkillable mixed with turn meter manipulation, this kind of strategy right here. And I don't even know if we're going to be successful. Let's see. Need a big hit there. Okay, there it goes. So we'll kill the spider on the next hit or 2, I think. Boom, spider down. Okay, so again, kind of looking for different strategies. Now let's talk a little bit about this farming. Everybody's saying save your keys until you know the highest difficulty boss that you're able to complete. That way you can farm those resources. That's a good point, right? It's something that you guys should be doing. However, let's talk quickly about the artifacts. And again, just to reiterate that point, you're given these keys. You can auto farm using these silver keys on boss levels. Now on special floors, or secret rooms, excuse me, you can't do that, okay? On secret rooms, it's a little bit different. Let's see how we're doing here. Oh, we fell off the top list here. But on secret floors, it's only 1 shot per month, right? And you get these champion fragments. Let's just take a look at what champions, how it scales in normal or not how it scales. The champions available, I should say. So you have to go in order on these champions. So check it out. Just in case you guys don't already know this, right above my head here, normal difficulty, first you get Helmet, then you get Akoth, then you get Rain or Ryan, and then on hard difficulty, you first unlock the Skyhide, then you unlock the Tomb Angel, then you unlock Uros the Soul Cage, who is a really, really cool looking champion. So you go in that order on secret rooms, but again, only 1 shot to do so before the next reset. So you're really farming with your keys on boss levels for these, fragments that you can use, or material, excuse me, that you can use inside the forge. Now, again, we talked briefly about this sets. I'm not going to go super in-depth on any of these sets, but one thing to mention here is these sets, unlike the champions, these sets aren't necessarily so OP game-changing. Granted, again, it depends on the level of your account, so I'm sure they can help out a lot of people, the majority of the player base, but it's not like these are Perception and Swift Parry, in my opinion. Maybe Fatal is on the same level as those. Maybe Frostbite is a little step down. But overall, these sets aren't so game-changing that you absolutely, you have to stress yourself out if you use a few silver keys farming a boss accidentally. We think now the rewards are going to scale the higher level the boss is. But at the end of the day, you guys don't have to just kill yourselves worrying about these artifacts. I do have a couple fatal things, so I'm going to go ahead and fuse these or forge these. Why am I using every wrong verb today? We're going to go ahead and forge these. Let's see if we can do a rank and a rarity, and I don't even care where they are. Let's just see what we get. So Gauntlets defense, okay, we will sell those. And our second piece is going to be a weapon with crit rate and crit damage, not bad, 6-star. We will keep that one in the Fatal set. So again, this is attack 15% plus crit rate 5%. I think it's a very solid set. I think that I watched every YouTuber's video, I think, in the entire ecosystem, and some Russian YouTubers as well, to get their take on, Doom Tower, right? And a lot of the guys, I agree with a lot they said. I disagree with some things that some people said as well. I'm sure the same, they could be said for me. However, at the end of the day, it was actually Murder Inc. who had a video yesterday or the day before talking about these artifact sets really not impressing him at all. And he was also talking about the paywall here, and I've seen other videos disagreeing with this as well. So, but I kind of related to this. I saw other videos claiming that this is so difficult, Doom Tower in general, that Plarium made a huge mistake, and Murder actually, He said he likes that it's super, super hard because this feature has to last a long time. And I'm kind of on that side. Granted, again, we're two whales, so we're coming at this from one perspective, and it could be frustrating for a brand new player. However, normal Doom Tower, you can still experience a lot of it, I feel like, as a kind of newer player, you know? So, because it's that easy, we talked again about the difficulty in between both towers. So anyway, he also mentioned he is not a big fan of these sets, and I have to agree. At first, I was excited about the Untouchable set. Immunity for 2 turns plus resist. But how much do you need resist on immunity gear anyway, right? Just to basically prevent Madame Ceres from stripping away your buffs in the arena. I don't think that Untouchable is as game-changing as initially. We were pretty excited about this set because it's an obvious upgrade to immunity. I mean, that's obvious, right? You get the resist. So either way, it's a win. But immunity is just not meta anymore. With all the buff strippers out there, immunity for a 4-piece set, it's a lot. I would still love to see, and I know, you know, they've never done this, they've never talked about this, I would still love to see potentially Plarium consider 3-piece sets. Because I think even more than buffing, we're seeing people use Destroy now, we're seeing people find uses for a lot of the new buffed sets, artifact sets, which is really cool. But I think another kind of outside-the-box way to buff and kind of rework in the future, in next year, 2021, artifact sets would potentially be just going ahead and making some 3-set artifacts as well. Granted, it gets a little weird. If you have a 3-set, you can't run 2 sets, but you could run 2 3-set artifacts, and maybe that would bring a lot of utility to the table. I think that would be an appropriate place for immunity gear as well. It kind of falls right in between, in my opinion, anyway. Anyway, Fatal is good. Affinity Breaker, again, we talked about in yesterday's video, maybe Allure in an Affinity Breaker set for level 20 Fire Knight. That way she wouldn't be landing weak hits, and that way she would be consistently landing the turn meter manipulation on an anti-affinity matchup, Force versus Magic versus Force. However, that's so incredibly niche, and that's my thought on the set overall. Affinity Breaker is so incredibly niche, it's not that exciting of a set, in my opinion. Let me know if you guys think otherwise. But it's just the use rates on this set for a 4-piece set are going to be so, it's basically only going to be that, right? When you need a champion, you know, specifically who is the wrong affinity, hence the Affinity Breaker, to land a debuff, then you put them in an Affinity Breaker. How often is that? Maybe in Doom Tower, that will be necessary as we scale. Who knows? Frostbite set, 15% to block freeze debuffs, 10% to place a freeze debuff on the attacker. I think it's a B- set personally. Some people think it's an A+, other people think it's trash. I think it's a little bit better than average, but nothing crazy, right? You can run 2 Frostbite sets or 3 Frostbite sets and run 30 or 45% chance on to block freeze debuffs, which is kind of cool to have, I guess, on specific teams against specific bosses in specific areas in the game. But again, specificity, there we go, and niche seem to be the themes on a lot of these new artifact sets. So I would not stress out about having to farm these. If you have to, you know, let's say you only play Raid Shadow Legends for half an hour every day, I would still prioritize farming Great Hall and even Faction Wars and Glyph farming over I have to get my 10 attacks in, especially in a year, in 6 months, when this whole Doom Tower becomes not brand new and fresh anymore. I don't think farming these artifacts is going to be a necessity in the same way as Glyph farming and Arena Great Hall farming is. Those are my opinions. Guys, let me know what you think overall of the difficulty scaling here in Doom Tower, and let me know what you think of these artifact sets. Am I wrong here? Do you guys think it's a very important prioritization that you should make on your account? I appreciate the feedback as always. Let me know where you are on Doom Tower. Let me know how your progression is going. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, take care, guys.